What was the most memorable thing your class clown ever did? Ordered a pizza to the window of our math class and actually made the transaction through the window. Found a way to change the scrolling marquee screensaver's text across the network. I have no idea how he did it, but he managed to change the screensavers across the whole school to say my balls are huge, which is a great start to the story. Apparently one of the librarians saw the entire library bank of computers scrolling this and fainted. Investigations ensued, and he was caught because he hadn't bothered to cover his tracks or anything. He got pulled into the office. Him, his dad, the vice principal, and the traumatized librarian, and a fortunately open door to the rest of the office, hence us knowing this story. There was a long tirade about the consequences of his actions, the distress he had caused the poor librarian, etc. Finally, at the end of it all, he was asked if he had anything to say for himself. And he did. I was referring to my basketballs, straight face. The vice principal and his father both actually laughed. The librarian was enraged and promptly told to calm herself down by a still snickering vice principal. He copped a whopping single day of suspension, during which his father took him out for lunch. We had this party where a friend of mine was sleeping upstairs on a couch. This was when digital cameras were just brand new, and we happened to have one. Someone went up there and photographed him sleeping without pants or a blanket in fucking briefs. He was very hairy. Somehow that picture ended up as the Windows 95 shutdown screen on all school computers. Since you only saw it for a short time, it took a while until people caught on, but eventually he became that guy from the shutdown screen. I have no idea if they ever caught the guy who did it. Spray painted the word "Stop Vandalism" on the side of the school. Built a functioning bong in art class during our clay unit. While the teacher admired his craftsmanship, he had to report it and couldn't let the guy take it home. Moron glued his mouth shut with Gorilla Glue for $10. He didn't get paid. I was trying to fix something I broke with Gorilla Glue, got some on my hands. I was like, hey, fuck it. It's just glue. Washed my hands with hot water. Wrong fucking answer, guy. Turns out Gorilla Glue dries faster with hot water. It formed a thin layer of residue on my hands for 3 days. Nothing removed that shit. Nail polish remover, alcohol, soap, tried everything. One guy on a board said gasoline and another guy just posted a picture of a chainsaw. So yeah, that shit was on my hands for a week and a half. In science class we had hot plates to heat up experiments. I kid you not, this kid started making a grilled cheese on the hot plate. The teacher was like, "What's that noise smell?" She looks over to see this kid flipping his grilled cheese on the hot plate. It was sizzling and everything. She tells him to go to the dean's office, so he stands up, takes a bite out of his sandwich and walks out. In 7th grade we had a class rabbit. Our teacher fed it Welch's fruit snacks and we would always beg her to give us some, but they were strictly for the class rabbit. Well, this one kid who was always joking and playing pranks and doing weird shit stole all of the fruit snacks when the teacher left the room for a few minutes. He literally ate all of them, maybe like 20 packs. He hid the wrappers in his backpack or something. When the teacher came back she was so livid and didn't believe us that he did it all alone, and so we all got punished. In 5th grade, he caught a cricket on the playground, then brought it to class, yelled for everyone to look at him, and then ate it.
Witness me, all crunchy and chrome at the gates of Valhalla. I chirp. I die. I chirp again.
Dressed up like the girl he hated for Halloween, complete with wig and glasses and his sister's school uniform. School called his parents to pick him up halfway through the day. I don't even remember who actually did it, but that is beside the point. Private Catholic high school, I believe it was freshman year. One of the guys on the football team was in a class where you had to take care of one of those fake babies that cried and could electronically track any parental missteps. Guy leaves the baby in the locker room during practice. Obviously a smart call. A few members of the team decide to kidnap the baby. I believe there was a ransom note. The next day, the baby was found hanging from a cross on the wall in the locker room. They crucified the fake baby. In a private Catholic school. Everybody laughed like a bastard. This was my friend's school, but this kid came to school dressed as the Flash and just ran around campus and through classrooms all day. Administrators were trying to catch him, and after a security guard chased him down in the lunch courtyard he got sent to the principal's office. As he was going into the office, a kid who was leaving turned to the principal and said, "Dude, you can't punish the Flash. The principal must have agreed because he didn't get in any trouble." I remember in my 8th grade English class, there was this one kid who had a really bad stutter, like really bad. Turns out he didn't even have a stutter at all. He just started it as a joke and went with it for every one of his classes the entire year. Only the teachers thought he had a stutter, but all the students knew. We all kept it a secret. Sorta related, my mate managed to convince an entire class that his dad was an illegal immigrant from Mexico, and some teachers believed him too. At the end of the year he told the class, but not the teachers. The teachers believed him till like halfway through 2nd year when they were talking to another teacher who knew his dad. His dad is a local doctor. Also, this is in the UK. This is pretty tame. Probably because it happened in the early 90s. We had a teacher, Mr. A, who was very strict, very serious, very high regard for himself, very Italian. This man rocked the thickest mustache I had ever seen. Nothing fancy, no handlebars or waxed works of art. Just a full, glorious stash that Burt Reynolds would envy. We had been working with fun fur, thick and damp, bushy fur, for an art project. Another kid and I jokingly made faux mustaches out of it and used double-sided tape to wear them. The art teacher, who was young and new to the profession, kinda sorta dared us to wear them to Mr. A's class. We went one step further. We made mustaches for everyone. Mr. A typically strode into the classroom with disregard for all of us until he had written whatever was important for that day on the board. Somehow a class full of dumbass 9th graders managed to keep our heads down and not laugh. We waited for that moment when he turned to face us. It could not have been more perfect. The absolute stunned look on his face, followed by the loudest, not laugh, but straight out guffaw. He loved it and insisted we keep them on for the whole class. I'm sure someone, everyone, has something funny, a wild, a gross, or whatever air. But almost 20 years later, and that moment is still clear as day in my memory. We had a similar teacher in high school. He was literally everything you described, except he was very German and damp, very proud of his handlebar mustache. He twirled it as he walked down the halls. It was truly an amazing thing to behold. His name was Mr. W. Mr. W was a huge dick and damp. Everybody was petrified of him. Somehow I got lucky enough to never have his classes. One day we were making up skits for drama club. Everybody decided we'd make up a skit about the teachers. Nobody wanted to choose Mr. W, so I decided I'd be him. I have super long hair, so I cut a little chunk from underneath and damp, fashioned it into the most glorious handlebar mustache I could produce, and damp used eyelash glue to stick it to my face. I wrote up my little part of the skit and damp waited for my turn. It was about time for me to go when Mr. W, because he was the nosiest man alive, walks into the auditorium. I didn't know what to do, but I figured fuck it, might as well go for it. My skit made fun of every one of his little idiosyncrasies, and damp, I acted like a screaming lunatic all the while, because that's what he does. I was awaiting my inevitable punishment when this scary little German man just starts bursting out laughing. Laughed like no other. I wore the mustache the rest of the day, and damp, he made sure to stop me in the halls to laugh about it. After that day, in the halls, he constantly would compliment me on things, nice jacket, cool necklace, etc. I somehow managed to become friends with the scariest teacher in school, just because I made fun of him once. Farted louder than I've ever heard in my life. I'm talking wall shaking, stomach rupturing, ripped open asshole loud. Wouldn't have been that big of a deal if he hadn't done it during the middle of our math final. Then as everyone turned to look his way, I just happened to be the unlucky son of a bitch sitting behind him. He pointed directly at me. Cue laughter from the entire hall of students and our solemn and usually grim teacher. He may have been the one laughing the hardest if my memory serves me right. Fucker got me good. We're still best friends today. 1st grade. Kid threw his chair out the open window because he didn't want to do Spanish class. Fucking determination. Jizzed in his sandwich because a senior kept taking his lunch every day. So he voluntarily gave it up after going to the bathroom to rub one out into the sandwich. Yep. Said senior ate every bite and then we told him. Thank you for watching. Remember to leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe to okpjdark for new videos every day. See you tomorrow.